Hello, my name is Dana, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some search tips for the Encore online catalog at the Princeton Public Library. So for this video, I've already signed into our account, and we're at the main search page for the Encore service. And you can see that when you use the link from our website, it actually pulls up and says Princeton Public Library. And you can even do a search just by default for things that Princeton Public Library owns. And then you can also do a search for Illinois Valley area libraries. And this category will pull results from libraries in our area, our physical geographical area of the Illinois Valley. And then you can also do a search for all libraries, and this will pull up results that libraries throughout the entire Prairie Cat Consortium of over 100 libraries owns. So we can start by doing a search for, let's see, Diana Palmer, who's an author. And so you can see that it pulls up 28 results that are owned by Princeton Public Library. One of my favorite things to explain to people, or at least to explain as a resource, is this left-hand column of the search results, because you can see right here that there's a checkbox by Princeton Public Library, so it knows that these 28 items belong to Princeton Public Library. Also on this column, you can see the format breakdown. So when it says book, that means regular print books, and then large print books is 10 results. And so that's a larger print that some of our patrons prefer. The genre category is useful. It isn't a perfect way to sort results because, as you can see, only 2 are classified as romance fiction, but 21 are categorized as love stories. 3 are categorized as Western stories, and generally Diana Palmer writes romance westerns, and so the genre isn't as complete as would be ideal. If we scroll down a little bit further, we can see the publication date. You can narrow it for items that have been published in the last 10 years, for example, so 2010 to 2021. And apply that. And so then you can see that the results narrow down from 28 to 14. And so if that's something useful for you to see what your favorite author has published in recent years, that's definitely a method you can use. Now, if you're looking at this search and you say, hey, I just want to get all the possible things that she has, you can actually clear all of the refinements for searching, or you can just clear 1 or 2. So if we clear Princeton Public Library, you can see that there's 208 titles that Diana Palmer wrote and that are in the shared catalog from the last 10 years. And so sometimes it gets, you can see here, this is a great example, it's pulling the results. You can see the covers and the titles, but the facets refinement is taking a little bit longer to load. There we go. So 208 titles for Diana Palmer. And so you can also see that some of them are going to say available, and usually they will list the library top in the alphabet in the little preview panel. Now, even if it's not available at Princeton, you can absolutely place a hold for it. So in order to see if we own it, you can say see all. It'll give you a preview of the first 5 libraries alphabetically. Then you say show remaining items. You've got to scroll down to P for Princeton to see if we own it. And it looks like we do not own this title, Unleashed by Diana Palmer, but that's okay. So what we're going to do if we want to check it out is we're going to request it. And then it defaults to picking up the title from Princeton Public Library because you're a Princeton patron. Now on this screen, I want to just mention that there is a box that says I have a deadline for this material. It's a little bit misleading because sometimes people see it and think, ooh, if I say I have a deadline, that means it'll get it faster. But that's not actually going to be how it works out. What this means is that if we check the box, you'll see that it says, I don't need it after month, day, year. So what this box tells the system is if you check that you have a deadline for the material and you give a day like, say, March 1st, 2021, and if for some reason it can't fulfill that hold, it can't send the item to you until after that date, it'll just delete your hold. So generally, we advise people to not check this box, to just leave it as the default screen that you would like to pick the item up from Princeton and just say submit. The next screen it'll give you hopefully will be that your request for the title Unleashed by Diana Palmer was successful. When it's ready, you'll be able to pick up the material at Princeton Public Library. So then you can just say OK. And then as you're doing your search and you're logged in, it'll give you a little note here on the right-hand side. It says you've placed this item on hold. And you can also edit your hold if you decide you want to change it. All right, and so then that's a basic example of searching for an author. You can also search just for general topics like penguins. And so then we have over 1,300 results for penguins, which is excellent and very cool. Now some of these will be a mix of nonfiction, which you can tell both from the location code, juvenile nonfiction, and you can also give it a clue that it's a nonfiction title because of the Dewey Decimal Number, which generally indicates that it is a nonfiction item. When it has those numbers in the call number, that's usually a clue for us. So again, we did a general search for penguins, and if we want to narrow it to, say, a board book, you can click board book for the format, and then it'll give us the board books that are in the consortium for penguins. Now we're going to give it a minute to look, and then I want to see if the Princeton Library has any board books on penguins. So we're at the libraries part of the facet sorting, and we say more. And again, we've got to scroll down to Princeton Public Library. And in a future video, I will show you guys how to do advanced searching from the initial search, which is up here. But we'll take a look at that in the future. So it looks like we have a board book called I Like It When, written by Mary Murphy, and it belongs to Princeton. And if we say show remaining items, it should pull up where to find our copy. Yep. So an easy board book sorted by the author's name. So this is another book that we can find for you guys if you need it. So I hope that this video is helpful as an introduction to searching, and there will be future videos in the coming days. Thank you.